do. Oh.
I'm in first place as it stands right now, but the girls are nipping at my heels.
I have been keeping a secret. And the secret is that I'm gonna win this challenge.
My month of extreme feminism.
It reads like a YA with mature content, and it's, to me, it's ghastly, but to each their own.
And at 75% way through the book, she gives birth. It's graphic.
I think I understand the why choose community in a way that I didn't before.
If I'm cheating, then I'm cheating. But at least I logged it, so I'm not lying to anyone.
I see, but I'm nervous. What if I didn't win? We'll find out.
Oh no. Hi. Good morning. It is 5:06 in the morning. And just so y'all know, I am also in it to win it. I'm just on a job right now. Because Summer may have posted a video leveraging her little book influencer platform, but I have done a lot of Goodreads looking. And if you remember what the rules are, then you would know that it's the Goodreads genres that count. Which is tough for me because I'm a Storygraph user. Anyways, yeah, I'm in this. Don't count me out yet. Do we think that my friends took the time to look at my rules? Don't know. Simply do. Oh. Actually, I stand corrected. Both of my friends have already finished 2 books. Hannah read The Kiss Curse. I love The Kiss Curse. I started reading a historical fiction book called The Heretics Daughter, and it is so good. It's slower, so it kind of reminds me of The God of Endings. It's just very melancholy and slow, and it is like watching a car crash happen in slow-mo, and I really enjoy it. If you eat up the Salem witch trials, you'll eat up this book, which I do. Hi, I come to you after finishing Katie Kazoo, Switcheroo, Witch Switch, where we got not 1 switch but 2. She switched with the local witch, Mrs. Hamilton, and this diva looks incredible. Can I just say I want to grow up and be Mrs. Hamilton? So that's all I have to say on that. I think I read it in maybe 30 minutes, if that. So if I'm cheating, then I'm cheating. But at least I logged it, so I'm not lying to anyone. It was wrong that day in my room. It wasn't the same difference. Not really. 13 isn't 12, and today isn't yesterday. Sometimes important things happen and everything changes so slowly you don't notice, or so quickly you nearly miss it. Or you change in ways you never expected. I guess that's what happened to me last year. I grew, whether I wanted to or not. And what Bia doesn't get is that I don't care so much if other people believe my story. That's not why I'm writing this all down. I'm writing it because I'll read this book. I know I will, over and over for the rest of my life, trying to figure out what happened, trying to understand it all the better. Look, I know that as time goes by, I'll forget the details. I've forgotten so much already, but I'm hoping I can hold on to the parts I still remember, the ones that haven't slipped away, because someday I'll turn into a grown-up. Someday I'll have a job and a car and a dishwasher, and if I'm not careful, I'll wake up one morning and I'll be too old to remember what happened the year I turned 13. So I'm writing this book, starting today. I definitely am writing this book, no matter how it turns out, even if it ends up being a total failure. And if you're reading it somewhere in the future, whoever you are, I hope you'll like it and believe my story. That'd be nice. But if you don't, that's okay too. I know now that people are going to believe what they want. And what happened is pretty wild. I almost couldn't believe it myself. As a matter of fact, that was sort of where everything began, I guess, with me not believing. Laurel Snyder. Well, girl, don't you just know how to write a book? It feels so cheesy. It feels really cheesy to say, but I feel like the witch challenge, the witch reading challenge, also having the caveat that each new genre is a whole point, has just led me to read some absolute gems. This book being one of them. Will I cry at the end of it? Probably. I'm a crier. What can I say? I need to do a really big check-in because I have not done one in a long time. After I completed The Witch of Woodland, so cute, 5 stars, incredible, loved that cute little book. The next thing is I read The Crucible. Now, I was a theater kid, but I don't think that I ever actually read The Crucible because I think that I always told myself, I've seen it enough times, why do I need to read it? So I went ahead and took the opportunity to read it and go ahead and get the classics genre check. I gave it a 4 stars because I'm older now, and as I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, John Proctor, kind of the villain. So then I read John Proctor is the Villain, the play with Sadie Sink on Broadway, and loved that. Felt very seen. It resonated with me emotionally as someone who went to college for theater. Haha. That book doesn't really make explicit mention of witches though as main characters who affect the plot, so unfortunately does not count for this challenge. Oh, okay, and then I read Witch Please. Witch Please I gave a 1.5 stars. I did not like this book. It was cute when I was first reading it, but then as it just went on and on, I was like, this conflict is not real. And it wasn't charming enough the way Done and Dusted is to just get by with absolutely no conflict happening. I was just kind of annoyed and irritated, so then I just went ahead and released all my other holds/checkouts of the sequel books because I don't care. It is not for me, that genre. The next one, I listened to the audiobook of Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I feel like there is this prevalent theme in horror where it is not actually the supernatural that is scary, but in fact just being a woman in a time period is horrifying. Because the book was set in 1969. It was dealing with underage girls being pregnant. I think our main character is literally 15, Fern. Sorry. So she's 15, she's pregnant. It's 1969. No one's giving them any information about childbirth. No one's giving them any information about nothing, but they're treating them terribly. Classic, right? And at 75% way through the book, she gives birth. It's graphic. It is graphic. That is the most, sorry. There's a couple of scenes in it, and I just had to sit there and listen to the audio of it, right? And oh my gosh, it was so visceral. Good job, Grady Hendrix. Oh my gosh. I really enjoyed this book. I think that it affected me very viscerally, which what more can you ask for when you're reading a book? I don't know if I would reread it just because it kind of got to me, but I also don't know what my takeaway from it was besides, wow, being pregnant and giving birth is horrifying. What a horrifying ordeal. I'm scared. I'm scared of that. Grady Hendrix, I just want to go ahead and say this. I did not realize that Grady Hendrix was a man when I was reading it, right? There are some things where you can tell, oh, this was written by a man, oh, this was written by a woman. I just felt like this person was giving me a very horrific, this person, I think that Grady Hendrix did his research on that era, on giving birth, on specifically that time period. So, but I'm definitely getting burnt out on this genre. As it currently stands on Monday, September 29th, I have 20.6 points. Hannah has 22.39 points, and Summer has 17 points. And yes, that is what I have to say. That is my update. I'm getting tired, but we're going.
Hi everyone, I'm Goody Winkler. I'm checking in. We're at the halfway point of our witch reading challenge. I've read 14 books so far, only 1 DNF, which is pretty good for me. And I have 2 to 3, maybe 4 that I'm kind of in progress on right now. And a couple secret ones that are on the way. So there's a lot of potential for me to kind of really pull ahead. I'm in first place as it stands right now, but the girls are nipping at my heels. All right, so I've got to put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. So far, I've read The Kissed Curse, which is the sequel to the X-Hex, as well as The Wedding Witch, which is the third one in that series. I really liked them both. The Wedding Witch I liked a little bit better because Bowen is more my type. You ladies know what I mean. I also read a couple of nonfictions. In Defense of Witches, I thought was a really interesting feminist look back at witches and how things like the witch trials pertain to like persecution of women today. I thought that was a really good way to kind of kick off. That was one of the first books that I read, so that was a good way to kind of kick off my month of extreme feminism. I've read some really wonderful books. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls was a high point for me. That's a 5-star book. It was really emotional and devastating, but also like really fulfilling and meaningful in a way that I didn't really expect. That's one that would probably be my most recommended book if someone were to ask me. At least so far, that would be my most recommended book. I've also read some absolute trash and drivel. The Awakening, Vampire Diaries Book 1, trash. Don't bother with it. The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. I love my Queen of Horror, but that book is trash. Don't bother with it. That was my DNF. I've read Jinx, which was a really cute witchy YA. I read A History of the Salem Witch Trials. I did not read The Crucible because, of course, we all know I was in the play. I read The Witches by Dahl. That one was really cute and fun. Heartless Hunter was a very good, like, enemies to lovers series, that along with Rebel Witch. It was a duology. They kind of drew out the cat and mouse game in a way that I think we all wish Powerless did. It did a lot of things that I think we all wish Powerless did and just totally failed to do because it wasn't well written. Heartless Hunter is a well written alternative to that. Super fun, super fast paced, gets right into the action, which is basically the only way that I'll ever read fantasy. And then its sequel, Rebel Witch. I read a classic, The Master and Margarita, and that's the one that I think I'll probably go back and reread at some point and like get some kind of better like historical context, because it was written in the Soviet Union in like the early 20th century, and it wasn't even allowed to be published at the time that it was first written, and it was only first published in like a heavily censored form, and so obviously the history and like the place in which it was written very much informs that, and I think there was a lot that I missed out on because I just don't have that context. So I do plan at some point in my life to go back and reread The Master and Margarita. And then, of course, the biggest surprise for us all, I read a reverse harem book, and I liked it. Is called Shadow Kissed. It's, I believe, a 7-book series. You better believe I will be reading the rest of them. Even if I don't get to that point by October 15th. I don't know, there was something about it. Like, this coalition of, different supernatural creatures all banding together to protect her from the things and the people trying to get, I don't know. All I'm going to say is that I understand where you people are coming from now. I'm in progress reading The Witch's Path, so I'm learning a lot about myself through reading that. I can't say I'm going to become a full practicing witch. I think it might be telling me that witchcraft is not for me. It's a lot more mindful than I tend to be in my daily life. That's okay. I'm also reading The Witch of New York, another nonfiction. This one's true crime. Marissa also read this one, so shout out to her, because I got that title from her. Anyway, bye local. Love you guys. Check in at the next coven meeting.
I have been keeping a secret. And the secret is that I'm gonna win this challenge. So, I figured out pretty quickly, starting on the night before our reading challenge started, that the way to maximize my points was actually just gonna be to hop genres. And then I figured out that the best way to do that would be to read children's books. And so children's books have given me quite a few points. Right now, the point system, in the lead, we've got Hannah, according to the official points. We have Hannah with 27 points. And then we have Marissa with 21. And then I'm coming in last, according to the official one, at 18.7 points. But what they don't know is that I have been keeping my own list of reads and my own tally. And according to that tally, I am actually at 44 points. So that puts me solidly in the lead. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I feel like it's probably unlikely that anybody manages to catch up if we continue at the pace that we're going. But I am a bit worried that I've run out of new genres to read, because as of right now, the genres that I've read include graphic novel, paranormal, history, mythology, picture books, middle grade, romance, horror, urban fantasy, nonfiction, historical fiction, romance, mystery, young adult, fantasy, witchcraft, Wicca, feminism, cozy mystery, historical romance, cookbook, classics, and I've got more to come, but there aren't that many other genres that I can find. So I know that I found dark romance, I found reverse harem, I did find a spirituality book and a novella, which those would be great reads. The spirituality one, though, is 239 pages, and it looks like it'd be an absolute fucking slog. So don't know if I'm going to be able to read that one. The novella is actually classified just as a novella as the category on Goodreads. That one's in a digital format, an ebook, so I feel like that I might just need to bite the bullet and buy that one. It's also from like an author who I'm friends with, so I feel like it makes sense for me to just go ahead and bite the bullet there, read that 100 pages, get that extra point. But we're doing pretty well here on the genres, and I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. I do know that Marissa's gonna be real pissed when she finds out, because she called it unsportsmanlike for me to be hiding my reads, which maybe it is, but maybe I also am just a winner. It's hard to say. So we've got some pretty good reads here. We've got some really crappy reads as well. I did really actually enjoy the picture book that I read. It's called Room on the Broom. Absolutely fantastic. It was in audiobook format that I listened to it, and they had great voices, they had great sound effects, and then they even had a bonus song at the end. Precious. Then I also really enjoyed the middle grade book that I read, which was a big surprise. I actually feel like I enjoy middle grade more than I like young adult, because middle grade, I don't have to deal with teenagers. Middle grade is just like kids being kids. I'm not a fan of teens being teens. Of course, I've had some fun with some mystery or some romance. Always a good time. I've also had a good time with a cozy mystery. That was cute and fun. I had a bit of a hard time finding a cozy mystery, but I did it. Found a cozy mystery and a mystery. So that was great. Those were a good time. Probably won't be return reads for me, but I actually did read 2 cozy mysteries. Okay, then I also read a witchcraft one. That one is on green witchcraft, and that one was interesting because I learned about how like different witches will use like eco-friendly products and activities like cleaning up litter, things like that, to practice their green witchcraft because it's giving back to the earth. That one was the witchcraft book. Then I also read Wicca for Beginners. Big takeaway from that one is that basically the main philosophy of Wicca is that you can do whatever you want as long as it's not causing others harm. So that was fun. Then I read the feminism one, which was like a series of essays linking witchcraft and accusations of witchcraft to anti-feminist movements and to capitalism, and like that was super interesting. I did feel like I should have actually just like sat down if I was going to really understand those essays. They were also a little bit outdated because I think they were from the late 90s. But it was still really interesting, and I did not realize how many accusations of witchcraft still happen to this day, but learned something there. Then let's see. Okay, then I also did read a book called Kitchen Witch, How to Become a Kitchen Witch, Modern Kitchen Witch, Witch's Toolkit, Recipe, Spells, and Rituals. And oh my God, it was awful. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I don't trust the witch who wrote that. You know, I did not trust it. She said, or I don't even know if it was a female, but the witch said, who wrote it, that like a Roomba counts as a bezoar because it purifies your air and your space. And I was like, sure, maybe. But like, there's so many things where it's like, you're giving out medical advice, you're talking about toddlers, who is this book written for? It was awful, hated it. Do not recommend. But you know what? It's a cookbook, so take what I can get. Let's see. if there are any other notable reads here. Oh, I did find as well a historical romance that had a witch in it, and that was great find. So glad that I found that read, because I would not have thought witches would be showing up in historical romance, but there she was. So historical romance, found her, and she was actually kind of fun. It was a little bit, it was like, yeah, I didn't mind it at all, actually. I think a lot of it had to do with the audiobook narrator, had a great accent, so it was just listening in, you know. Okay, then I also listened to Macbeth so I could get a classic. Macbeth, Shakespeare, overhyped, honestly. Like, I'm not here for the man anymore. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Let's see. We're at 44.64 points. Feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous, but like, it doesn't really seem likely that anybody's gonna catch up to me. But I don't know, Hannah's getting pretty close here. She's at 27. Oh God, what if she does catch up to me? It'd be really embarrassing. She's at 27, I'm at 44. What's 44 minus 27? I'm getting nervous. Like, it's fine, right? Like, I'm fine. 44 minus 27. Where the fuck is the backspace? What the hell? Okay, I'm 17 points ahead of her. 44 minus 27 is 17, so I'm 17 points ahead of Hannah. It's like, seems like a lot, but what if it's not? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, let's let the best witch win, but I just think that witch should be me.
Update, we're of course nearing the end, or like the final stretch of our reading challenge. I'm really feeling it. I'm trying to get through an urban fantasy right now, and it's boring as fuck, and I'm really not liking it, but I will push through so that I can count the genre points. Thankfully, I think I have a mix of enough different genres and different like types of books that I'm able to keep myself entertained without feeling too much burnout. Right now, I'm of course reading Road Trip with a Vampire. I'm loving this. I love anything that Jenna Levine writes. This series couldn't have come out at a better time, this third installment in the series, because I'm really, really enjoying this, and it doesn't feel just like it's not a hate hex, you know, it's way better than that, in my personal opinion. Yeah, I'm also got a book about Harry Houdini that's pretty interesting and like a mystery. So I'm rocking 2 audiobooks, physical book, and I've got Dead Witch Walking on Hoopla. And then I have a lot of physical books. I have like a big ass stack, because Jennifer keeps pulling things of different genres to give to me. She's truly my saving grace. Thanks, Jennifer. Love you. I bought this one, The First Witch of Boston. This is a historical fiction. I do really want to read this one. I also have, this is one, I don't know, it's tagged as witch, but I don't know if they're actually going to use the word witch. It's another historical fiction, The Hounding. And I've heard really, really good things about this. When I ordered it from Interrobang, the guy was like, oh yeah, that's a really great book. You should really read that. So these are both ones, even if I don't get to them in the time period of the challenge, which like, this one's pretty thin. I should be able to finish it. I'm definitely going to read them at some point anyway. But yeah, I'm kind of killing the genre game. I have like a shit ton of books on my desk at work. The trouble is, obviously, a lot of them are physical books, which is harder to read, so I'm trying to kind of pick up the pace on some of those things. But we're in the home stretch, baby. let's bring it home. All right, quick video check-in. It's the 9th of October. It's hard to believe that tomorrow is like, or today's our last day of logging actually. And we'll have only 5 days left after this. Kind of crazy. I finished The Witch of Lime Street yesterday. I am this close to finishing Road Trip with a Vampire. And I got the audiobook for Dead Witch Walking, which means that I will actually be able to finish it. Even though it's not a good book. I'll power through. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm gonna finish all the books that I was thinking I was gonna be able to finish. Especially, I've got I had plans last night. I work late tonight. I have plans tomorrow night. And then we're talking about going out this weekend. So, we'll see where I fit in my reading time. I'm gonna try and pick a task at work today that I can listen to an audiobook while I do it. Anyway, still rocking in the lead. See you later. Okay, checking in again. It's the morning on the 11th of October. I finished 3 books yesterday. So I'm up to 25 finished books total. About halfway through Conjuring and Crossroads. And I'm gonna start Witches of Eastwick today, I think. Because that'll get me another new genre. I also just downloaded the 3rd installment in the Shadow Kissed Reverse Harem series. So that'll be good, fun listening. But yeah, I'm currently clocking in at a book a day, more or less. Beat me if you can. Okay, I just finished First Witch of Boston. I thought it was really good. I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction, but this one I think didn't bother me so much because, well, for one thing, I really like at the very end, she gives like a little excerpt about like the actual known facts about the woman that this is written about. And there's not much. There's only 2 primary sources that like actually mention her. And so I don't mind so much of the extrapolation that the author does about who she was. Because you can kind of gather a lot of details from other Puritan women, and kind of form a real person, and she brought a lot of like humanity to like a character from a period of time that's so far distant in the past that it's like a little difficult to think of them as relatable. I thought she made Margaret to be very relatable. I thought it was really well done. I was just looking through some Goodreads reviews, and this one lady has like a major issue with the fact that like there was sex in the book. Sex in a book about a woman accused of witchcraft in Puritan New England. We shouldn't be surprised by this. I feel like sex, if there wasn't sex in this book, I would think it was unrealistic, because sex and sexuality was such a central part of like the witchcraft trials in Massachusetts and in New England, and the Puritan ideology is like what made it that way. So I feel like we really shouldn't be like, just because there's sex in the book, not even like super explicit sex, that is like clearly not intended to turn the reader on. She's calling it like book porn. Like, I don't know. I have beef with this one reviewer just because I'm like, don't read adult books if you don't want to read sex. Like, go read a YA or whatever. Like, I feel like it's unreasonable to expect there to be no sex in a book like this. I don't know. It's weird. Just my 2 cents.
Okay, I've just finished another fantasy book. That is 3 and I think 2 days, maybe 3 and 3. So that's about my average, is a book a day. But finished another fantasy book. That one was really good. That one was about a witch and a witch hunter who's like a religious zealot type dude, who was raised by the archbishop and is totally anti-witches, thinks they should go, like they're going to hell, all of that. So that one was pretty fun. I would read the next ones in that series. But the exciting news for me is that I found a book that is a paranormal romance, is the first genre on Goodreads. So that's going to be another point for my genre count. So I think right now I'm up to like 73 points, which is feeling pretty good, but I am nervous that other people have also like been reading stuff in other genres they haven't been logging, or that they're saving all of their other genres for this week and they're all going to catch up to me somehow. I say all, 2. The 2 of them are going to catch up to me somehow. But we're just going to keep plugging away. I'm really trying to find, there was this one book that was classified as poetry. There was a Halloween poetry book about witches. Really trying to figure out where I can get that one from, but I'm like worried that I would have to like order it used from a online store because it's like a kid's book. But we're going to try and find some poetry if we can. Some witch poetry would be really awesome. But until then, paranormal romance, here we go.
We're coming down to the wire. It's 2 in the morning on the 15th. I have until 11:59 tonight to get in the last of my reading, and I work today, technically. I made the giant mistake of going on a date this evening, which took up way too much of my time and was really not worth it. Like I could have finished this book. I came home and I read half of it. But I could have finished it in the time that I had, you know? Where has that left me? Right now I have to finish it tomorrow because it's 2:21 a.m. and I have to be up at least by 7, you know? So I should go to sleep. I feel fear in my heart. I can't believe I'm gonna have to wait until Friday to find out which of us won. I can't believe that after today, I'm free. I don't think I'm gonna know what to do with myself. And then obviously I'm gonna finish the Witches Rebels, the Reverse Harem series tomorrow. I only have one more left of that, and I think that's going to be my honorable mention, is just that whole series, because I did really enjoy it, and nobody tells Summer, but I'm going to read Pucking Around now, because I think I get it. I think I understand the Why Choose community in a way that I didn't before. I'm questioning, because this I can get on Hoopla, the ebook, and then I'll be able to read it at work after I finish that play. But I've used all of my Hoopla borrows for the month. I didn't use my Hoopla borrows very wisely through this whole series. You know, I've never used all of my Hoopla borrows before. I didn't really think it was possible, but it is. So I know that my father has a Hoopla account, and I will be asking him for the password. So I think I'm gonna do that. And then I'm like, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it. I don't fucking care. But it'll count for at least a full point. And then, like, you know, I would just, it's only 200 pages. Like, would that be so crazy to read the 200 pages? Maybe it would be. I don't know. It might kill me. I might die.
Okay, it is Okay, it is the final day of the book reading challenge. It is Wednesday the 15th. I think I'm around 75 points. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know. I'm nervous. But I did find, and this is great news for me, I found a witch book that's, I think, only like 10 hours, so I'll be able to finish it today, that is classified the genre as dragons. So that's another point for me. Really excited about that. I was feeling nervous, but that makes me feel a little bit better. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see, but I'm nervous. What if I didn't win? We'll find out. We'll just see. But it's all in all, I have read a lot of new genres and a lot of new authors. So that's been good. I read a lot of new authors, and then I also feel like I've gotten to read quite a few books where I'm like, oh, I would be interested in reading the sequels for that. So that's been nice as well. I did start reading one last night that I think I'm going to DNF. I really thought I was going to like it. It's called Blood and Brujas, and thought I was going to like it. And it reads like a YA with mature content, and to me, it's ghastly, but to each their own. Anyway, that's my final, I guess, update for right now. I'll report back on the dragon book. Can't really expect it to be that good, but I expect it to be a point, and it will be that. So that's good news.
Hi, I haven't had an update in a while. I've been so busy. It is October 15th. It's like 11 something. I'm done. Like, I'm turning my shit in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not reading anymore. I feel as though this entire 30-day extravaganza, I have just been gorging myself on witch books, and now I'm stuffed. I am stuffed. I am ready to puke. I need to digest all of this. I think I definitely read an AI book, and that makes me sad. You know, that makes me sad because I don't want to read AI. I don't want to read AI books. I don't think that they're... Where's the humanity? I also read a cookbook. I've read a play. I've read here's my thing about the cookbook is it was full of recipes that I'm like, okay, I've made all of these before, just a little different. Like, they have this one recipe for pesto star bread or something, and I was like, I make cinnamon star bread. So I actually don't know how I could have forgotten to mention that so much of, like, the reason I think I feel so drained is because I spent so much time listening to the audiobooks of A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. The first one was so bad, but Summer was like, just keep going with it. And so then I read the next one, don't remember the title of it. Also, well, that one was like better, but by the third one, which, by the way, I did not finish in time for this challenge. I got halfway through, and I will finish it because I am a completionist and I can't not finish things. But by the time the third one rolled around, I was just like, Diana acts like she is 16. Matthew is like 1,500 years old, but still punching walls like a 15-year-old. And I don't respect them. There was like a part where like Matthew was getting tortured, and Diana like says some like quippy comment. I'm like, now it's not the time to be sassy. Like, can we take things seriously, please? So I think that was my biggest criticism of the book is, number one, like, I don't think that it's cool to have a vampire boyfriend who behaves like a toddler and throws temper tantrums all the time, but I'm supposed to respect him as the alpha? Yeah, right. And then my other big complaint is that the characters didn't feel like they were responding properly to the circumstances at play. How am I, the reader, supposed to take things seriously and treat them with high stakes if the characters themselves are just making quippy little side comments like we're in high school? Ew. What else? My adventures in the witch reading world were plagued by my adventures in the real world. I've just been working a lot. I'm just ready. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to crown whoever the witch is. I feel like I exceeded my point expectation. I had set a goal for myself, which is I just wanted to read 50 points worth of books. But I think I've read 34 books in total. So I feel good. I'm feeling ready. I'm ready to let it go, you know? I'm just gonna turn this in. I don't even know what time it is.
Well, that's it. It's 12:51. I sent in my final count, 12 o'clock. I'm a little like at a loss for what to do with myself at this point, because like, what am I supposed to read now? Who am I if I'm not reading a book? I basically got through all of those like last minute final day reads that I wanted to get through, and I snuck in a little 2-hour audiobook right at the end there. So final number of books is 38. I read 38 books in 31 days. There's a couple that I, had kind of factored into my original plan that I didn't get to, particularly The Witches of Eastwick. I had actually really wanted to read this. I probably will still read this. There's also this one. It's just a little mystery, but it would have been an easy read. I didn't get to it. And then I didn't read The Hounding. Even though I bought it, I purchased it with my own money. So I will read it at some point. I just wasn't sure if it was going to say the word witch in it or not. And I already had the other historical fiction. So that like covered the genre anyway. And, I supported a local business and whatnot. So I guess it's not a total loss. I read a play right at the end. I did manage to finish this little YA right at the end. I'm feeling very accomplished and very very intellectual. I not to be that guy, but I feel very intellectually stimulated. The fact that I've like pushed my eyes and my ears and my brain to like consume as much literature as I have consumed over the past month is a feat, to be quite honest. And even if I don't win, I totally should win, but even if I don't, I am at peace with the effort that I put in and the work that I did. And I'm really proud of myself. So there's that. Suck it. See you guys on Friday. Okay, just a couple of final thoughts. I'm really excited to finally be able to devote my life properly to hockey season. I'm really excited to watch the new gay Dan and Phil video. Terrible time for them to drop that on me. I'm really excited to finally finish the Wide Wide Sea audiobook. It just came in. I borrowed it today. I'm gonna finish it. I'm about halfway through. I'm excited to get my life back.
All I've ever wanted in life was other reading friends who take competition way too seriously like me and can get really into a niche topic like me. So, it is I, Marissa, or as you may know me at the end of tonight, the ultimate reading witch. These are my favorite reads. We're going to start, I do not care for the rules, so here are my top 3 reads. Number 1, The Heretics Daughter by Kathleen Kent. Here's the thing. My mind first went to, okay, obviously you need to learn about the Salem witch trials, but then this book is written by a descendant of one of the women who was hanged during the witch trials. This woman very notably was accused of being the queen of hell, and her daughter is or her great-great-great-great-granddaughter is working through that in this nonfiction book, and it's like literally about a mother and daughter's relationship, and it was beautiful, and I was crying, and it was so good, and it's only like 350 pages. The Witch of the Woodland, which I read, and I just thought of Hannah the whole time because it's about. Such a good book. It's a really good book. But I also was just like, wow, you know what? Adult fiction is good.
but middle grade fiction can also be good. And then finally, because I got that weeb shit on me, I read A Cat from Our World and The Forgotten Witch. This is volume 5 because I was crying the whole time and I was like, no, it's so beautiful. I don't want to make any spoilers in case you guys want to go and read it later, but just know that from page 1, I was just crying until the very end of it. Next. Honorable mentions. Guys, if you want to learn to be a witch, you should read this book. I actually feel very equipped to do witchcraft now, thanks to this book, specifically Solitary Wicca for Life by Erin Murphy Hiscock. She's actually like probably the predominant #1 witch author. The Witches, Salem 1692 by Stacy Schiff. I keep recommending this book to people, and people keep coming back and telling me that I've changed their life. And obviously A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I would just say is probably like the pinnacle of the witch romance genre. Next. I read a total of 25 genres. Yes, but as you can see, manga makes up for 14.7. Same with fantasy. Go ahead and click again. I'd like to draw your attention to a couple of fun ones, which is cookbook, click again. Religion, click again. Halloween, click again. Christmas, and last but not least, click again. Lesbian. I did find a lesbian witch book, and I think it was written by AI. Anyways, moving on. Of the books that I read, only one of them were physical, so that makes up for 2.9%, and the rest, majority of them were, so 64.7%, majority of the books I read were in the digital format, me scrolling endlessly on my phone, and 32.4% were read via audiobooks. Next.
That's a good stat. I like that.
These are all of the books I read. I read 34 books in total, and I put them in chronological order. So if you start at the top there, you can see you could see the way my brain worked, which is that, oh, I read The Witches. Now I'm going to read a historical fiction. Now I'm going to read another historical fiction, but this time true crime. But now I'm going to read a young adult because I'm going to rip Hannah shit. And then I'm going to read a children's book, and then a middle grade, and then I never read The Crucible, and then Witch Please, and then I read a horror book, and this one really scared me, and then I read The Witch of Colchis, which. Like, women in Greek tragedies, like, they just always, like, it's not gonna end well. And then I read Waking the Witch, and then A Discovery Witches. Blah, 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 blah. I learned that my friends are very competitive. They really showed out for this challenge because, like, pretty classically, I'm reading 10 books a month, right? And they're, like, reading 4. And so I was like, yeah, guys, let's have a reading competition. I wonder who will win, right? But they really showed up. They really showed up and showed out. And so if I get defeated, click again, which... I just don't think that I would, but I am humbled to be defeated in the company of these lovely witches. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Goody Winkler, and these are my witchy reads from this reading challenge. I hate presenting. Go. Okay, so my favorite read was one that Marissa also read, and it's one that I want to recommend to everybody, but I know that it would be really horrific and traumatizing for most people. But it's the Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. It's got body horror. It's got sisterhood. It's got witches and evil men and a pedophile and somehow with carving off body parts and being naked in the woods. The most horrific thing that anybody does in this book is give birth. And
very graphically.
Yeah, it truly is the most one of the more horrific things I've read, and and even beyond the body horror part of it, there was something so the baseline of the story is that it's set in the 70s, and it's girls, teen girls who are pregnant out of wedlock are sent to a home for wayward girls, is the baseline of this. And that on its own, the lack of autonomy that these girls feel and the way that they're, thrown from side to side. Mia was not home on a day that I was not, when I was at home and I was reading this book, and I sat in a chair and I cried for 3 hours. It was really good, and it changed my life. Anyway, next. My honorable mention is a whole series, actually. I think that this whole series should be taken in its entirety. This is the first reverse harem books that I have ever read in my entire life. It changed my opinion on the genre. I understand now. I really get it. Thanks, Summer. But this is basically about this witch, Gray, and she has her harem of 5 different men, among which we have a crossroads demon, an incubus, a vampire, a wolf shifter, and Death himself.
Yes, of course.
It's a 6-book series. All the audiobooks are really short. I would highly recommend. Very fun, very silly, very unserious. Anyway, so genres, I read 21 genres. I thought that was good, but apparently not. And I read 38 books, which is like, I'm so proud. Like, I never thought that I would read that many books in such a short period of time. 31 books, 38 books in 31 days. And these are all of the different genres that I read. I read a play, actually, that was really good. Actually, like, genuinely funny, even though it was written in, like, 1948. The middle grade book I ripped from Marissa. It was The Witch of Woodland, which, if I had known that I was allowed to list 2 favorites, that would have been my other favorite. Really, really spoke to me as the young Jewish woman that lives inside of me. Anyway, I guess for my wrap up, that's my last slide, but what I have learned is that I can do things I never thought possible. And I am so proud of myself, even if I don't win, even though I really do think I deserve it. And I don't know what to do with myself now. Thank you.
I'm talking about first my favorite read that I had. And my favorite read from this genre, I did have a lot of books that I really, really enjoyed. And some books that surprised me. I also had a lot that I didn't enjoy. But my favorite read, I think, was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Because it was absolutely darling from start to finish. And I just had like a grand time the whole way through. There wasn't any point where I was like, gosh, this is really dragging on or anything like that. I had a good time the whole way through. It was sweet, it was cozy, it was something I felt like I could totally go back and reread again each October because it was just gave me a little whimsical sense, and I loved the characters, they felt very natural. Plus, there are these 3 little girls in it who are absolutely darling. Then my honorable mention, and this was actually a really exciting read for me because the author is an author that I previously DNF'd, where I had to stop reading her stuff. It was awful, it was like hyped up and then terrible. I thought it was just horrible writing. And then I read this one without realizing that the author was somebody who I DNF'd before. And it was so good. It was so well done. It had great world building. It was really character driven. And in this one, the exciting thing about this one is that 2 main characters are fated mates. And the male main character had been told by the fates like 1,000 years ago that he was going to find his fated mate in 1,000 years and that he's gonna marry her and then they're gonna save the kingdom together. So he's been like on the quest for her for 1,000 years. He's so excited to meet her. At the very beginning of the book is when he's gonna go meet her. He's like already knows he's gonna love her. He's like thinking about all the nice things he's gonna do for her. And he's really excited because he knows as soon as he marries her, he's gonna be able to become king. And that's really important because the regent king, his uncle, is doing a really bad job in their war against the evil witches. So there are these evil witches that this male main character has been fighting against for his entire life. They're his sworn enemy, and his fated mate is going to help save him from them, right? But then he gets there, and it turns out that she's a witch. Yes! I know! Yeah. So then he is just like awful to her the entire time, the entire book, and she does everything right. And I felt like this book was hard to read because it felt like there was no hope for the female main character, where she was just gonna, no matter what, the male main character was convinced, like decided that he was gonna hate her, and so anything she did, he hated. And I just felt like that's how witches probably felt, for real, when they were persecuted for things that they didn't like, there was no good way that they could have handled it. So this one was great. It was so good that I went and looked for book 2 to like purchase on Audible, but alas, book 2 is not an audiobook. So I don't know what I'm to do, except for read it physically, but I think it's like a 700-page book. Whoa. Yeah. So this is my honorable mention. Now I don't have a slide for the next thing. But for genres, so the number of genres that I read. Now, we all probably know that my main genres are fantasy and romance, and you can get me to romantasy any day, right? But I don't hardly ever explore outside of those genres. So can anybody take a guess at the number of genres that I might have read?
7.
12. 7, 12, okay.
2.
Right.
3. 25.
25, okay, so I read 32 genres.
What? I was the closest.
32 genres. And then I also read my total number of books.
I want to see a full.
This is all of the books that I read, except that it's not because they couldn't all fit on one page. So there's also this one. I read a total of 52 books. Yeah, so 52 books.
Hannah's like,
Okay. I read a total of 52 books and 32 genres. So I read a book for every week of the year. And that is my presentation. Thank you all. I think I'm the best witch. We'll find out soon.
Okay. In last place with 56 points, Marissa. 56.81 points. Good job, Marissa. Okay, so now first place between Hannah and Summer. Okay. In first place with 81 points, Summer DeBose. And in second place, Goody Winkler with 62 points. To the Supreme Reading Witch! Long may she reign.